When we feel things intensely, it's difficult to remain present. It takes a great deal of awareness to not get swept up in the strong emotions we are feeling and fully identify with them. In this video, I'll explain the mechanics of how negative emotions surface, the various coping mechanisms most people use to deal with their negative emotions, and then arm you with a powerful tool so you can learn how to deal with negative emotions when they come up. But before I do, if at the end of this video you found that it was helpful, then please like and subscribe so this message can reach more people who might also benefit from watching. Feelings. Being human means that we are going to feel things. The beauty of our feelings is that they are constantly showing us what we believe to be true about ourselves. From the moment we are born, we are taught what everything is by giving it a label or name, solidifying our belief that we are separate from everything. Simultaneously, we are taught what is right or wrong, good or bad. What we learn becomes our truth, and these truths become our filters through which we see the world. And because our inner world is just a reflection of our outer world, the filters through which we look are only going to show us that perspective. When we stop labeling things as either good or bad, we become open and just willing to be. Awareness just is. Our consciousness doesn't think, feel, or act. It is pure being. But while we're here in these bodies, we'll be thinking, feeling, and acting. So let's continue. Now that I've given you a window into how our self-concepts are formed, let's further understand how our emotions come to the surface. When most people think, they are usually recalling a past event or creating an imagined event in the future and seeing pictures in their mind's eye. Our body-mind then responds to these pictures, and we call that response an emotion. Emotional reactions are happening all the time in varying degrees. To break this process down more simply, when we think a thought, it causes us to see a picture in our mind, and then that picture goes through our filter of good or bad, which creates an emotion. For example, if I tell you to think about a blue cat, you're already looking at an image of it in your mind. And our pictures are so rich with information, it's hard to know how to pinpoint all the thoughts we have attached to that one picture. When I think about a blue cat, I see a blue cat, but I also think about my first cat as a child, or cartoons that I've seen with cats that might be painted an odd color, or how much I like cats. And the list goes on and on. My point being that pictures are so full of information. We can decide to give these pictures more richness, more power, by making them more real, turning them into IMAX movies, and bringing so much intensity to the image because of it. These pictures are what make us feel things so intensely. The thought may have triggered the picture, but the picture becomes the story. There is always a picture involved when we are feeling something intensely. This is why many spiritual teachers talk about letting go of the story, letting go of the thinking. We've gone over the how and why of negative emotions. Now let's cover the way people can cope with them. Identifying how we respond to negative emotions. There are several different types of coping mechanisms that people typically have when dealing with negative emotions. First is the person who copes by wanting to run away from negative emotions as fast as they can. This is a form of denial, and so they pretend everything is fine, or the minute they feel a negative emotion, they quickly tuck it away, stuff it down, and suppress it. These people might also reach for their preferred form of escapism, entertainment, food, sex, alcohol, drugs, whatever gets them to that place where they can numb themselves from the pain. The second coping mechanism is when a person becomes obsessed with trying to fix their negative emotions by fixing all their problems or the problem people in their lives. These people have a hard time accepting what is, and they feel that if they can control the situation, it will make them feel better. Third is the person who treasures their negative emotions, and even though they are miserable, holds on to the feelings of negativity so tightly because it has become part of their identity. Without the negative emotions, they don't know who they are. These are just a few of the ways that people can deal with their negative emotions, but they are some of the most common. What all three of these coping mechanisms have in common is that they are rooted in resistance. You can watch my video about this titled, How to Let Go of Resistance. Pain and fear are two of the greatest motivators for spiritual growth. But we don't have to wait until something is painful to gain the wisdom that is inherent in the lessons life presents. I deeply believe that all of our suffering is caused by our own misperceptions and misunderstandings. How can we possibly know what is good for us? I'll use my daughter as an example. If you told me that what I needed in my life was to have a special needs daughter that doesn't talk or communicate at all, is severely epileptic, is unable to care for herself, I would look at you like you were nuts. Most people feel sorry for me and my daughter and see her state as unfortunate. But my daughter is and continues to be one of my greatest teachers and most precious gifts. She's taught me how simple love is and how important it is to accept one another and see the light in all human beings, no matter their physical, emotional, or mental condition. She also taught me that when we trust in life and let go of our expectations and what we thought we needed, we are carried by the flow of life instead of pushing against its current. The middle path is seemingly the most uninteresting. Most people look to the answers for their problems outside of themselves. But what we do in life isn't nearly as important as how we relate to it. Our power is not in berating ourselves for being emotional and beating our problems out of ourselves, but in knowing that we have the choice as to how we want to respond to what we are feeling. The key to being neutral is to just be. Allow things to be. Allow yourself to be. Don't try to change anything or fix anything. When you do this, you are not adding any fuel to the fire. You are also getting in touch with your true nature, which is always pure being. You are giving your emotions the space to do their thing, and eventually that fire will burn out. Start practicing neutrality. Become the witness, the observer of your life. I love you all so much. I hope you have a beautiful week. Until next time, remember to let go. Let go of trying to be anything other than the truth of what you are.